welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a really cute and really simple summery set. If this is the first time you're seeing one of my videos, my name's Rachel. Thanks for stopping by. I like to make stuff here, and since I've primarily been sewing lately, you can expect to see a little bit of personal style chit chat here too. Okay, you guys, so the past few weeks have been super busy, so I haven't really been doing a ton of sewing lately. A couple weeks ago, we went camping. Our family went down to Big Sur, and we had a really fun camping trip. And then also this past week, I was a part of a big event at my daughter's school, so I helped plan the event, and then I made a ton of signage for it too. And now I can get back into sewing, so I really wanted to start out with something simple but still like really fun and satisfying. I've been making a lot of just purely functional stuff recently, so I think it's time to make something a little bit more festive for spring and summer. So I have been following Sewing with Solana on Instagram and YouTube for a while now, and she came out with this sewing pattern. So this is the Molly shirt, and then it's paired with a tiered mini skirt. Both of these look really simple to make. I know that the tiered mini skirt actually doesn't even have a pattern for it, it's just a YouTube video. I'll make sure to link both of the videos associated with these patterns below. But she does actually have the top pattern, the Molly shirt, available on her website. So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to follow all of her instructions for the mini skirt as well. And I'm going to show you the fabric I have for this project. Here it is. So if you watched my Q&A video, you'll probably recognize this fabric. This is a really beautiful, super lightweight viscose. So this has this beautiful, amazing floral print on it. And I love the colors in this print. It is super lightweight, kind of has like a silky feel to it. It has a really nice drape, and I think that it'll work really well for this project. I got a lot of it so that I can eventually make a dress out of it too, because I have a feeling I'm going to be really frustrated if I can't find this fabric again. So today I'm going to be printing out the pattern for this and then probably putting that together, and then tomorrow I can get started on putting the shirt together. Once the shirt's finished, then I'll make the skirt. I'm probably not going to be showing you guys super in-depth steps since there are video tutorials for both of these that I'll link for you guys, but I just thought it'd be fun to kind of take you guys with me for this project, as it's like my first project in a few weeks. So let's get started. Okay, so I was just cutting out all the fabric, and then I realized that there are only two pieces, so it's just a front and a back. So I was curious how I was gonna finish like the neck hole, if there was a binding or anything, and it doesn't look like there is. So I watched the video tutorial, and I realized that it was just like a double turn all the way around the neck hole. And I feel like something like that would work on like a linen or cotton, but this is so silky. So I ended up making a facing. So I've never made a facing myself. I think I did it the right way, so we'll see. But basically I just traced the outline of the neck hole, and then I made it 2 inches wide. I know you can make them wider too, but I just want to do like a really thin facing. And then I sewed the ends together, right sides facing, and then now I have this little loop. So once I put the front and the back of the shirt together, then I can attach this to the neck hole, and hopefully that will make a little bit of a neater neck hole for this silky shirt. I might try this again at some point in linen and see if I actually need to do a facing. I mean, obviously you don't need to do a facing because the original pattern is made without a facing, but I'm gonna give this a try and hopefully this works. Now I need to go get my daughter up, and I have to do some stuff around the house, so I don't have any more time to sew right now. Hopefully I'll have time to sew tonight, and if not, then I will definitely have time to sew tomorrow. I have a feeling that the shirt is going to come together really quickly, so I'll probably have it finished by tomorrow, and then we can move on to the skirt. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Hey guys, okay, so it's Wednesday now, my daughter's at school. It is like a summer day here in San Francisco, so we've been spending a lot of time outside today, and when she gets back, I think we're gonna stay outside. So right now I have a little bit under an hour, and I really wanna finish the shirt. So I did make a new facing for the neck hole because I think that my other one was a little bit too narrow, so I made this one a little bit wider, just so it'll lay a little bit flatter under the shirt. But that's what that's looking like. I haven't put the front and the back of the shirt together yet, so I'm going to do that, and then I can attach the facing. I'll show you guys how I attach the facing. I'm going to go put together the front and the back. I think it's just wrong sides facing, doing the side seams and the shoulder seams, and then I'll be able to move on to the neck hole. We'll see how far I get. I think that this will be pretty easy to put together, but this fabric is really silky, so now that I'm actually working with it, I'm realizing that it does have a tendency to warp. So I might have to be a little bit more careful and a little slower than I initially planned. I'd be really curious to see what this shirt would be like in something with a little bit more structure. So I have a feeling I'm gonna be using this pattern again. I'm probably making other little adjustments. Maybe next time around I would do like a bias tape binding or something. I just really want something a little bit more substantial than just like a hem around the neck, I guess. We'll see how that turns out, and then, I don't know, maybe in my next video you'll see that I made another one right after this. Who knows? Okay, let's get started. Okay, you guys, so the shirt is now put together. It's the shape of a shirt now, so I can show you guys what that looks like. Here you go. So there's one sleeve, the other sleeve is all tucked in here. It just looks like a big boxy cropped shirt right now. So later I'm going to put elastic in the bottom and on the bottom of the sleeves, so it kind of gives it that like fluffy shape. And I still need to put the facing on, so I just had to pick all of the serging out of the bottom of the facing because I realized that somebody adjusted the tension on my serger without me noticing, so it was bunching up all around the edge of this. So that would have looked a little bulky and funky, so I took all of that out, I reserged it, and then now I just need to pin this to the neck hole so that I can put it all together. And I do have to go get my daughter from school, so I'm going to be doing that a little bit later tonight, maybe this afternoon if she takes a nap. I'll probably be doing it later tonight. This is taking a little bit longer than I expected it to, and I think it's just because this fabric is really soft and squishy and it just kind of likes to warp around. So I've been really gentle with it. I think I'm doing a good job of keeping it in its correct shape. So yeah, this looks pretty even. Anyway, I'm excited to finish this. I feel like I'll be able to finish this tonight. I was hoping to start the skirt tonight, but that might have to wait until tomorrow, so we'll see. All right, I'll see you guys later. Oh yeah, those do kind of look like guys. Be careful because there's pokies right down there, okay? Mommy touches it, right? I don't want you to touch it, okay?
Why?
I'll show you. There's a big blade that goes right here.
What?
And it goes chomp, 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 chomp. You can go chomp, chomp, chomp. Hi. Okay, so I just attached the facing and then I serged the edge too. I'm going to do an understitch. I'm going to stitch this seam allowance to the facing so that hopefully when I wear it, it will keep that facing inside the shirt. So I'm gonna go do that right now, and then I'm going to save the elastic around the sleeves and the bottom hem for later. Hi, okay, so it's the next day. My daughter is down for a nap. I'm talking quietly because we're all a little bit sleep deprived here today, so I really want her to have a good nap. We've just been kind of hanging around this morning. It's a really hot day for springtime. It's like 80 degrees out today, so we've just been kind of hanging out in the backyard, and I filled up a big storage container with water yesterday for her, so it's kind of like a little pool. So we've been playing out there, and we've been getting a lot of sunshine, and it's been nice. So we're just trying to kind of enjoy the day, and during her nap right now, I'm going to try to finish the shirt. The shirt is taking a lot longer than I expected it to. Yeah, this is some very delicate fabric. It's super, super drapey and just like lightweight and magical, but it is really hard to work with because it's like so wiggly. So I've been really taking my time on it. Today, I just need to do the hem and the sleeves and then add the elastic. So when I say I just need to do that stuff, in my mind it's going to take me like 30 minutes to do that, but it will probably take like 2 hours. So I hope I can finish this today and then maybe I'll start the skirt too. And I don't know, if I get my daughter down tonight at a reasonable time, maybe I can do the skirt then too. But yeah, I did want to show you guys the neckline. I did finish this yesterday. So I have the facing all in place. I did have to do a top stitch on this just because once I put the facing in and everything and then I ironed it, I realized that it was still flipping out even with the under stitching. So I ended up doing the top stitch, and I think the top stitch looks pretty nice too. I also stitched down the shoulders. So I just lined up the seam of the shoulder and the facing, and then I just stitched right over that seam right here, so you can't even see it, but that's going to help keep the facing down. So I just feel like this looks a little bit more official, and it kind of has a little bit more structure with this drapey fabric than it would have if I would have just done a little double turn hem type of situation. So for the sleeves and for the bottom, I'm just going to be doing kind of a double turn hem. So I'm going to do like, I don't know, 1/4 inch and then another inch, so that I can make little channels to put my elastic through, and then hopefully we will be done with this part of the project. So I'm gonna get started doing that, and I will hopefully finish today. I think I'm gonna actually serge the bottom before I do the hemming, because just when I was looking at it, I realized how frayed this has become. So I think I'm just gonna give it a quick serge, and then I can iron it and pin it into place for hemming. I just think that that will make it a little bit less stressful for me, dealing with all of these frayed edges. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will do the hem. Okay, so I just finished the hem and the ends of the sleeves. So now I just need to add the elastic, and then I'll be finished with this. I did try it on without the elastic just to kind of see what the silhouette looked like without the gathered sleeves and the gathered hem. And it actually is really cute. So it's nice to know that if I put the elastic in this and I don't like it, then I can always take it out and it is still a cute top. And this super drapey fabric, it's really cute even without the elastic. So I'm gonna go do that now, and then afterwards, let's see. My daughter's been down for an hour. So after that, I might start taking measurements for my skirt. So for the skirt, there's no pattern that goes along with it, but there is a full tutorial video where it covers all of your measurements and how to draft the pattern based on your measurements. So I'll probably try to cut out the fabric for that today, and then maybe later on tonight or tomorrow, I will try to put all of that together. It does look fairly simple. It's just a few rectangles and then you add elastic to the top. So it shouldn't be too tricky, but yeah, I mean, that's what I said for this too. I think this fabric is just really tricky to use, but it's so pretty, and I'm so glad that I'm using it. I'm gonna go do some elastic, and I will see you guys later. Okay, one more thing before I go and do the elastic. I wanna show you guys one of my favorite little tools. This is what it looks like. I think I've mentioned this in a video before, but I just wanted to make sure I point it out again. So this little thing, if you open it, it's like a baby set of tongs. So it's teeny tiny set of tongs. So you just kind of pinch one end of the elastic. So you just pinch this end, and then you tighten this all the way down, and then this is the end that you feed through your channel. So it's just nice to have something bigger to hold on to rather than like a safety pin or something. And sometimes my safety pins pop open when I'm trying to push them through a channel, and if there is friction inside of it, then this actually just gets tighter. So it makes it just really secure and easy to put through a channel. Of course, if your channel is not big enough for this to fit through, then you're gonna have to use something like, I don't know, a bobby pin or something like that. But this usually works on most elastic. I'm using a 1/2 inch elastic for this project. I think you can use like whatever size you want, but this is what I have this big spool of, so I'm gonna use it today. Hi guys, okay, it's now Monday after camping. I thought I was gonna be able to do the skirt last week, but things have just been super busy and I wasn't able to get around to it. So today I'm actually going to put the skirt together. I made my pattern right here, so I can explain that to you in just a minute. So I thought I was gonna be making the skirt last week, but just with all of the preparation for camping, I wasn't left with any time. But yeah, camping was super fun. We went with a bunch of the families and the kids from my daughter's school, and it was really fun, but now we are exhausted. So we've unpacked and everything, and now we're just kind of like catching up on sleep and trying to get back into the swing of things. So today I made the pattern for the skirt by taking my measurements. So basically what you do is you take your measurements around your waist, and then you figure out how long you want the skirt to be. You kind of divide that up between the tiers, and then you add in for seam allowance, and then you just make these big rectangles. So it's gonna be really easy to put this together. I will say, when I went to measure around my waist. I think on the Sewing with Solana video, she says to measure around your waist and then add 15 centimeters for the top tier. And then when I did that, I figured that I would check my hip circumference to make sure that my waist plus 15 centimeters actually fit around my hips too, and it did not. So I think proportionally, I'm a little bit larger in the booty than I am around the waist. So I definitely had to account for that. So basically what I did for mine is for the top tier, I took my hip circumference measurement and then I added a couple inches for ease, and then I made the bottom tier based off of that. So I just wanted to make sure that it would fit around my hips, because I think if I would have just added 15 centimeters to my waist measurement, then it would have been way too tight in my hips, so it wouldn't have fit. So I would just be cautious about that. Just make sure that when you measure your waist and you add the 15 centimeters, that's actually going to be large enough to fit around your hips too. So for me, my first tier goes right from my waist to under my hips, and then the bottom tier starts after that. So I definitely needed the extra space. Okay, so I just kind of drew one of these. So I have two top tiers, so the front and the back, and then I have two for the lining. I haven't figured out what fabric I'm gonna be using for the lining yet, so I didn't cut those out, and I think I'm just gonna do the outside of the skirt for now. And then for the bottom, I have two of these larger rectangles. So my daughter also added some beautiful artwork around this to just decorate it, so I hope you guys enjoy that. But for now, I'm going to get started. The first thing I'm gonna do is probably just serge some of the edges, just because this is really wiggly fabric and I want to make sure all of my rectangles stay rectangular. So I'm gonna go do that. And then after that, I'm going to gather the bottom tier to match the top tiers. And then I'm gonna sew the bottom tier to the top tier for both the front and the back. And then after that, I'll sew those together. And then once we get there, then we'll figure out the elastic situation. So okay, so I just got the front and the back put together, and this is what the skirt looks like so far. Here's what it looks like so far. So it looks really long, and that's because the top part is going to be folded over for the waistband. So I'm going to have some elastic in here, and I'm also thinking about making a drawstring for this too. I think that that would just kind of add a little bit of like a casual touch, and it add a little bit of interest like right at the front and the middle of the skirt. I don't know, I like the look of a gathered waistband, but I think that a tie always pulls it together a little bit. So if I decide to do that, I'll show you guys how I add one of those. But yeah, it's turning out pretty good. So I left the bottom pretty long, and then once we're done, then I can check the bottom and see if I want to hem it up a little bit more or if I want to leave it as is. So I think that I'm just going to use the same fabric for the lining too. I just really like the weight of this fabric, and I don't want to use something too structured for the inside, and I think that that's really all I have right now that I could use for lining. So I think I'm just going to make a lining, I don't know, I said like 13.5 inches down. So it's gonna go past the first tier by just like a couple inches, just to make sure that it doesn't like bunch up if it gets like stuck on this seam on the inside. I need to go get my daughter from school, so I'm hoping that she will take a nap when she gets home, and then I can do the lining for this and maybe even finish the top depending on how much she wants to sleep. If she doesn't take a nap, then maybe tonight I will finish this up. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so we're back from school. My daughter's not going to take a nap today, so she's doing some arts and crafts over here. I'm trying to get better at sewing while she's awake now. She doesn't nap consistently anymore, and her bedtime is much later, so if I want to sew, I do need to set time aside during the day while she's awake And now that she's a little bit more independent and she can play a little bit more on her own, then I can set her up with activities and she can do that while I sew. I also think it's good for her to see me doing something creative and her to do something creative alongside of me. So we're gonna try that today. I just made the lining for the skirt and it turned out a little funky just because my fabric warped, but I'm just gonna try to press it and see kind of what happens. I serged the top because I'm just gonna kind of sew this into the waistband, but this is how it looks. So it's just kind of a little slip to go under just to cover kind of the first tier and then a couple more inches. I made this 3 inches longer than the first tier, even with the waistband. So this should be under kind of like the bottom ruffle a little bit too. So this is what this looks like. I did hem the bottom of that already. And then now I am gonna add a drawstring. So I just cut a really long piece of fabric that's 2 inches wide. I think I'm going to sew it with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then I'm gonna pull it through with a bobby pin, and then I can get started on the waistband of the skirt. Okay, so my daughter is now asleep and I'm going to add the drawstring holes to the waistband of this skirt. I'm just going to do buttonholes. So I know that there are a lot of fancy ways you can do this, but since I've already put the skirt together, I feel like buttonholes are going to be the easiest way to do that. So I have some fusible interfacing here. I'm going to figure out where I want them to be. So my elastic is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to fold this down about 3/4 of an inch to figure out where my buttonholes are going to be, because I'm going to turn this about a 1/4 inch in before I turn it down a 1/2 inch for the channel for the elastic. So I'm going to fold it down about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And then I'm going to find the center, and then I'm going to make 2 little buttonholes right here. But first I'm going to attach interfacing where those buttonholes are going to be, just to kind of reinforce the fabric. This is really, really thin fabric, so I definitely want a little bit more structure so that the buttonholes don't just kind of rip off and snag. And then once I do that, I'm just going to sew down the waistband as I normally would, and then I'm going to put the elastic through it, and then I can add the drawstring. And then after that, I think we'll be pretty much done besides the hem. I'm going to need to try it on and everything for the hem. I think I'm going to finish this tonight. I don't think it'll take too much longer, but I don't know. Waistbands can take a little bit longer than I think. And I'm going to have to figure out how to add the lining. I've never officially learned how to add the lining to things, so I'm just going to kind of experiment with a way that I thought up, so hopefully it works. All right. Hi, okay, so I finished the set and then I loved it so much that I made another one. So I'm gonna show you guys both of these. I'm gonna do a little try on for you guys, so I just wanted to let you know about the second set before I do that. And then we can come back here and I'll tell you guys all about kind of what I thought about the process, and I can show you guys kind of a closer look at both of these things. So here we go. Okay, so this is the first set. So this is the top, and oh my gosh, I love this fabric. This is just like the lightest, most drapey fabric ever. And as this shirt, I just really love how it hangs. So with this pattern, if I had used a more structured fabric, it would definitely have like a poofier look to it. The gathering with this fabric has kind of more of a drapey look to it, which I really love. I am really glad that I did the facing on this one because this fabric is just super delicate and really likes to warp and stuff. So I'm guessing it would have been really hard for me to just hem the top with like a double little turn and keep this looking really straight and nice. I don't think it'd be necessary on every fabric, which I'll show you in my second set. I did try it without on my second set, but I'm really glad that I did it on this. I just think that it adds a little bit more structure to this super thin fabric. So this sewing pattern is probably one of the pricier ones I've ever purchased. This is like a $20 sewing pattern, and this is a really, really simple shirt. So I kind of felt silly spending the $20. I do think if you're good at drafting patterns, you probably could draft this. I have not spent a lot of time learning how to draft patterns, so I spent the $20. I got this. I really love this shirt, and I will probably use this pattern a ton. The only other thing about the pattern that I think could be a little bit better is there are no written instructions for the pattern. So I do really love that there is a video tutorial for this. It's really helpful to see all of the steps. And yeah, for me personally, I just would rather read instructions than have to watch a whole video. Okay, and then this is the first skirt. So I really love how this turned out. I did make the mini version. So Ann-Sophie has a whole YouTube video about how to make this skirt. She made a maxi skirt in hers, and I wanted to make a mini version, so I just kind of made some adjustments there. She talks about that in the video, so I'll have that linked too. This came together really easily too. I always forget how easy it is to make something like this because it's really just a few rectangles and some gathering, and it ends up looking super cute. I also made a little drawstring in the top here, so I have elastic up here, but I can also make it a little bit tighter or looser with the drawstring, which I really like. I really like kind of having a little bit more flexibility. I also just think it adds a little bit of cute detail in the front. I tied it in a little bow. I did line this since this fabric is so sheer. I just used the same fabric on the inside as I did on the outside. Let's see, what else do I need to say about this? Oh, I used 1/2 inch elastic in the waistband of this, and it looks fine. I kind of wish I would have used thicker elastic in this just to give this kind of a little bit heftier, like more stylish waistband. This looks fine though. I don't think it looks bad, but I'll show you guys on the second one. I did use wider elastic on that one, and I think I like the look of it a little bit more. But yeah, I love this set so much. I feel like it looks dressy and put together, but it really is so comfortable, and it just kind of feels like pajamas. So that is a win for me. Okay, and then for the second set, I finally used this fabric. If you'd seen one of my fabric videos a long time ago, I'll link it right here, but it was one of my first fabric videos I had ever done. So this is a fabric that I got a couple years back when I was with my husband in Paris. We went to the fabric district in Paris, and I dragged him around for like a few hours, and I found this fabric right here. So I'm not really sure what this is. It was with all the cottons, but this kind of has that like cool feeling to it. I think it's probably rayon or something. It feels like cotton, except for it's really drapey and super, super soft. So I don't really know what this fabric is. I do think it's probably partially or even fully synthetic. It doesn't feel like polyester, but it has that like cool feeling, and I know that natural fibers don't really feel like that. So I don't know what it is, but it's this really cute pattern. It has kind of this like peachy pink in it and some super warm olive green, almost like brown, but I love these colors. This is Noodle. If you guys never saw Noodle in my last video, here she is. She's very sweet. But yeah, I was really excited to use this once I made the first one, and then I thought about the video tutorial for the first one and the fabric that was used in the Molly shirt. Ann-Sophie used this like blue floral fabric that looked like it hung just like this does. So I was really excited to use this fabric for this project. Also, I really wanted to save this fabric for something that I was gonna wear all the time because I love wearing these colors. So I'm really glad that I made this because I do see myself wearing this a lot. Even this with just like jeans or shorts, or if I made like another skirt that's white or something, white pants would be cute with this. I'm gonna wear this all the time. It's super comfortable and it's very cute. And then the skirt that I made to go with it turned out like this. So it does have, she really wants love right now. Noodle doesn't always want affection, so it's really sweet when she wants it. I don't know, I feel like I need to soak in this moment. Okay, so this is the skirt. I did the skirt pretty much the same as the other one. I made this one a tiny bit longer just because it is kind of a more casual fabric, so I feel like I'm gonna wanna wear this with just like a t-shirt and stuff a little bit more than the other one. So I made it a little bit longer just so I can really move in it and I'm not afraid of it like flying up or anything. I also added inch wide elastic, and I just feel like it kind of gives the top a little bit more substance, and I really like kind of that gathered look in that waistband. So I kind of wish I would have done that on the other one. I'm fine with it though, it still looks cute. And I also added a little waist tie on this one too. I really like how this one turned out. I did this one a little bit different. So instead of sewing the strip right sides facing and then turning it right side out, I just kind of made a bias tape and then sewed it all in place. So I did use one of my little bias tape making tools. I'll show you guys what those look like. One of these. So these are amazing to have. I hate making bias tape without these, and these make it so easy. So basically what you do, you feed this strip of fabric through here and you pull it out the other side, and as you pull it, it folds, and as it's folding on its own, then you're ironing it as you're pulling this. I don't know if I'm describing that very well, but that way you've got the fabric folded like this, and then all you have to do is go through and fold it one more time, like sandwich it, I guess, and then iron over the top of it again. So it makes making bias tape really easy, and you can make super even bias tape this way too. So I always recommend these for all of you who like doing like bias tape binding, bias tape straps. These are great. But yeah, I really like how that turned out with this fabric. I really like just how even they look and how they're nice and flat. I am still glad that I did the other way with the other one. I just think with that silkier, lighter fabric, I don't think this would have really worked, and I don't think it would have turned out as clean looking. So I think it worked out doing this way with this fabric and the other with the other fabric. But yeah, I kind of explained to you guys how I measured myself for this earlier. I did measure myself a little bit differently than the tutorial suggests, because proportionally I am not 15 centimeters different from my waist to my hips. And if I had made it that way, there's no way this would have fit around my backside. So I am really glad that I added a few inches, because I do like that kind of more gathered look anyway. And the second time around that I made the skirt, so on this one, I think I added 2 inches in width on the top and another 3 inches of width on the bottom, just to give me a little bit of extra room and like swing in the skirt. So, and the nice thing about an elastic waist is that the waist can always be small enough for your waist, and you can keep adding width here just to add as much ease as you want around your hips. And then by adding a little bit more width, it just adds a little bit more gathering here. So I really like how this one turns out. I really like how the other one did too. I just feel like this one has a little bit more of like a casual, comfortable feel, and the other one is just on the dressier side a tiny bit more. Hi guys. Okay, I just realized that there were a couple things I forgot to mention. I have popcorn popping in the back if you can hear it too. But yeah, on this shirt, I did just do the double turn on the whole neckline, and it turned out pretty good. So I do like it. I am still glad that I ended up doing the facing on the other one. This one has a little bit more structure to it, and it doesn't warp as much. So I feel like this did turn out really nice. And then also for the skirt, I did do lining on this too. I did this like nude polyester lining. When I was shopping for lining at the store, they didn't have anything. I really wanted to find like a super lightweight cotton to do this, but this is all they really had for linings. I did look at some of the other cotton, and none of them are really lightweight enough, but this is really nice and flowy. I know polyester is not breathable, so that's why I was looking for a natural fiber, but it looks really good under this skirt. So this fabric isn't super sheer, but I know in the sunlight you might be able to kind of like see my legs through it, and I wanted to make sure that I at least had a lining for the bottom. Okay. Back to the video. All right, well that's everything I have for you guys today. I will be making my everything I made in my second year sewing video soon. That's probably gonna be the next video you guys see from me, and I really hope to get it out within the next couple weeks. My free time has been very minimal lately, as you guys can probably notice, since I haven't really been uploading a ton lately. So thank you guys so much for still sticking around, even though I've been a little bit inconsistent in the past few months. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing that. And if you like this video, and if you didn't like this video, then I hope you like the next one. All right, I hope you guys are having a good day, and we will see you later. Bye.